If you want to see me create this look using the Cheers to the Beauty palette, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène with another video, and I'm so excited because I can put eyeshadow on both eyes today. I did a whole get ready with me, I'll put it right here if you don't know the whole story, but I have an eye that is looking a whole lot better thanks to a bunch of concealer and different stuff, and I am very excited to do a full face look for you. And it's just a week after I had my unfortunate incident, so I'm really, really happy that it did not take very long at all to get things sorted out. Now I'm still black and blue down here, but like I said, concealer is a wonderful thing. Let's get into this puppy. So this is going to be my last look. What I mean by that is my last look with the Cheers to the Beauty palette based on using all the colors. I have used everything except for one shadow. Let's take a look here. So there is still the protective plastic that I will put away, and I'll hide the mirror. It's a little bit dusty because I've been using it, but I've used every single one of the shadows in here. There's one that I haven't used at all, which is Grandeur, or Grandeur, if I were to say it in French. And also the highlighter I did show in a look, but I did not use it on camera. And I thought that that would be a good thing to do. And I think I'm going to create a look using mostly Grandeur, Iconic. I'm going to also cover up Iconic, I think, with the highlighter called Luxurious Bling, because it does transform the shadow quite a bit. And I'll do it on my hand here so that you can see. I was pretty impressed with the highlighter, its ability to transform a shade or shadow, whatever you want to call it. And so I think I'll show you what that looks like right now. So I've got two swatches of Iconic on my hand, and I'm going to go right in to this Luxurious Bling and put some on my finger and cover up one of the swatches with the Bling. I'm hoping you're going to be able to see the difference. So the top one, top of the screen, it has the Bling on it, and the bottom one does not. And the Bling offers, depending on the position of the light, it makes the eyeshadow a lot more sparkly. So the reason that I want to use it today is to soften up the Iconic shadow a little bit, because I plan on putting it on the inner lid, but also to make it pop a little bit more than if I were just to use Iconic on its own. Although Iconic certainly has a decent amount of color on its own, but I just want it to be lighter and brighter, and that's why I'm going to use the highlighter right on top. So let's get right into it. I have two eyeshadows on my eyes. I have Vanilla and Tonal, both from the Smashbox Matte Exposure palette, which is my Pan That palette for 2019. All right, I am thinking, I was really debating on whether to use Powder Room or Vintage Feels. And I haven't used Vintage Feels on camera, so I think that's the one I'm going to use. And I'm also using my new Smashbox, well, new as in I'm finally using them. I got them in December. Smashbox shadow, well, brushes. And here they are. So I'm using these today. And there are not very many eyeshadow brushes in the Smashbox set, but I think there's a flat brush that is long enough that if I flip it to the side, it can act as a crease brush, and that's what I'm going to attempt to do with it today. And here it is. And I'll use that. And if that does not work, I do have another Smashbox brush that is in my Shape Matters palette that I think would be fluffy enough to act as a crease brush. But I wanted really to use the brushes that I got in my 15 brush set that I haven't yet. So this is the one I'm going to try to use to get into the crease and put in a base color. Now on this eye, I will not be going up high just because I'm still healing, but I will definitely use the powders, the eyeshadow powders, on my crease and on my lid. Okay, I just put Vintage Feels on my brush, not using too much. I'm going to use the mirror of the palette to do this. And let's try it out. I have never used a powder brush sideways before, so I'll see how it goes. It's very soft. It feels pretty good. Okay, I think that's just enough for in the crease. I'll do the same on the other side in fast forward. Okay, I obviously put more on this eye than this eye, so I'll just even them out a little bit. Okay, and I'll just use a fluffier brush to just soften the edges. And for that purpose, I'll use a very weird brush. This is it's officially a blurring concealer brush, but it's dense, but it's still fluffy, and I'm just going to go up on the top here. I think that did an okay job. All right, back to the shadow. I will clean off this brush with my very expensive color switch, just a hand towel. I think I'm going to go straight in with my fingers on this one. I just don't feel like using a brush. I'm going to go into Grandeur on the outer lid to center lid on both eyes. So let's give it a shot. And Grandeur is a beautiful color. Love it. This look that I'm creating is really making me think of a look that I did with the Violet Voss palette as well, the Like a Boss palette. Now the one thing I wish I had done was to put eyeshadow, the same Vintage Feels, on my lower lash line. I think I'll do that right now and then finish up putting a little bit of that Grandeur on the lower lashes. So I'll do that right now. For that purpose, I'm going to use my smaller shadow brush, and this one is called the Full Coverage Shadow Brush. Going back into Vintage Feels and almost trying to use it as a smudger. So just a little bit onto the lower lash line, and I'll do the other side as well. Okay, I like the way that ended up, and now I'm going to use my green finger to put a little bit along the lower lashes very carefully. Okay, I had just a little bit of fallout that I just took care of it right away. And I think I want a little bit more green just over here. And there we go. Got it. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This green does not stay on the lower lashes like the other colors do. It's my finger, I don't know if you can see it, kind of gets a bald spot right in the middle where I am applying it against the lashes. And it's not something that I've seen with the other shadows, at least that I've put on the lower lashes so far. So it's a little unusual. It's like it doesn't want to apply the same way. I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to get rid of some of the green. I had to put too much and now it's gone too low for what I want. I don't want to end up looking tired. So I'm going to go back in with Vintage Feels a little bit and see if I can get some of the green off. Without creating a mess. All right, that did not go well. I had to go back and take some of the green off. I ended up with some on my nose. I have some right in here. It did not go well. So I'm going to go and change my method. I'm going to go in with my little smudger brush. It's called Precise Smudger, and that's what I'm going to try to apply the green with. I'm going to go in first though with more of the Vintage Feels and then change it up and go in with the green. All right, so I'm going back in with this one so that I can go and put the Vintage Feels back on my lower lash line. The joys of trying new shadows and new brushes at the same time. All right. Other side. That's too dark. Okay, I think that works, and I'm going to go in with, like I said, that little smudger brush into the Grandeur, and hopefully I won't get a ton of fallout, which is what I was worried about, which is why I was using my finger, but it's not working. Okay, that ended up working not too badly. And now we have the inner lid, and the inner lid I wanted to use the Iconic shadow with, if you'll recall, the highlighter on top. So let's put the Iconic shadow on first. And for that purpose, I'm going to use my pinky. And the metallic or shimmery shadows in the Cheers to the Beauty are very, very soft. So picking up just a little bit goes a long way. I mean, with they're partially gone now, but with these swatches, I did not use a very big amount on my finger, and like I said, it goes a long way. So here we go. I probably already have too much, even though it's just on my pinky. And just covering up part of Grandeur. So it kind of melts one into the other. I think I'm going to go in with just a little bit more. I'd rather have to go in with a little bit more than have too much on the eye. I think that's quite pretty. I'm going to go in with my finger just on the lower inner lid. I don't usually do that, but Iconic is not that light of a color that it doesn't look like it's just transferred from top to bottom. It looks like it's supposed to be there. And I think that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Nice. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so we are going to do a couple things. I think we need to do the brow bone on the one eye where I can really use brow bone color, and it's going to be Boutineer, this one, which I've used for brow bone for each one of the looks. And oh, and I forgot, I was going to use the highlighter on Iconic. So the highlighter is again Luxurious Bling. And I'm going to go in again with my pinky, but cleaned off pinky, and put the highlighter on that inner lid. So let's do that right now. It's a very, very finely milled highlighter. And it seems to just stick onto these super shimmery shadows. It stuck well on Vintage Feels too when I used it on there. It just seems to brighten up the inner lid just a little bit, which I'm enjoying. So let's do this. Oh yeah, I see. It might not pick up on camera, but it's just a subtle softening of Iconic. And I like it, yeah. I'm good with this, I'm good with this. Now let's go in with Boutineer for the brow bone, at least on this eye. We'll see how much I can do on the other eye. I have cleaned off my fluffier shadow brush that's going to deposit less shadow on the brow bone, which is what I'm happy with. So there's the Boutineer. Oh, this one. Always start with my left eye, but I'm having trouble, obviously, this week with what happened to it. And just a little bit more. Okay, that looks quite nice. And on this side, I can use just a little bit, but I won't go all the way in. Okay. I'm going to use a tiny brush to really get into the corner for each eye because I don't think my pinky got quite far enough. So let me just grab one of those little guys. And this is another new brush that I am trying out, and it's a precision brush. Does it have a name? Nope. And I'm going to go in with Iconic right into the corner. Now, Iconic is kind of messy. That's why I like to use the finger, but let's see how it goes. Okay, that went okay. And other side. Okay, better than expected. All right, so now I want to refresh my liner. So I'm going to pick liner, mascara, I think that's it, and be right back. I did have Annabelle Blackest Black on the upper waterline before starting this look, but apart from that, I haven't picked any liners, so I will do that and mascara and be right back. Okay, so I have my liners, my mascara done, and let's talk about what I used. I ended up using an Essence gel liner, and here is the color. Now there's no color name on the liner itself, but that is the color that I used in my waterline, and also waterline and lower lash line, and then the Annabelle Blackest Black, which I have underneath here. And I used that to refresh my upper waterline to make sure that it was nice and crisp, and also to tightline the upper lashes. And for mascara, I did use the Stila Huge 2 coats and the Annabelle Skinny 1 coat on my lower lashes. That is pretty much it. Now the only thing that I'd like to change is I do have right now on my lips the Velvet Glide by NARS called Bound. And I think that based on the vintage feels that I have in my crease, that I want to use a warmer, not a cooler shade. The Velvet Glide is more like a mauve, and I think that an orangey lipstick would look good. And what I think I'm going to use is the Bullet from Urban Decay called 1993. So let me just go and get that, and I'll be right back. There we go, just a quick application. Like I said, it's the Urban Decay 1993, and I think it's a very pretty color and goes really well with the vintage feels, I think. So that is my final look using the Cheers to the Beauty palette. A total of, I think, 2, 3, 4, 5 shadows, Boutineer, Vintage Feels, Grandeur, Iconic, and the, what's it called again? Lustrous Bling highlighter. And I think it turned out okay. Oh, I didn't use setting spray. Let me do that right now. And for setting spray, I'm using the Rainforest of the Sea 4-in-1 Setting Mist. And this is just a little trial size that I have in my Roulette Pan collab. So let's do that. I was rather generous. I do like the smell of it. It's quite a nice smell. But anyway, so that is the final look. I hope you enjoyed watching this video today. Please let me know what you think of the colors in the description box. And do you have this palette? Are you interested in it? It is getting discontinued by Coloured Raine. And right now, as far as I could see on the Canadian site, it was 60% off. Up to recently, it was 50% off, and they are clearing it out. So you may want to take a look if you like this palette, and I'll just show you one last time the inside. It's 12 eyeshadows like the Queen of Hearts, but along with a highlighter that is new to this palette. I think that's better. To this palette compared to the Queen of Hearts. I have to say that I really am enjoying this palette quite a bit. I've used all the shadows. I'm very impressed with the more punchy colors on this side that may look a little bit intimidating, but I promise you they are not. They help you create really nice looks, especially on the inner lid. So I'm really enjoying this palette. And this palette is convincing me that I am probably really going to enjoy my other 3 palettes from Coloured Raine. This one I went with first because it's being discontinued, and I wanted to give you guys as many looks as I could before it was gone and unavailable. But definitely will be playing with one of the other 3 palettes sooner than later. I have the Queen of Hearts, Beauty Rust, and Vivids, and have swatched all of them. If you are curious, I will have all of the associated Coloured Raine videos in the description box below. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it very much, as always, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.